right, now I can see everybody's face. Okay. Well, tonight, I love that word connection. And you all popped a word in there about how we might be connected, either just logistically, how we met, the feeling that we get when we're connected with each other. And I so appreciate all the different responses you put in there. And connection is key. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight with the nervous system, is how important connection is. And what is one of the keys of connection is listening. And you guys get to do most of the listening tonight just because I have the microphone, but there is going to be some time at the end for some questions. So you get to really practice that. I get to practice talking, and I should say, the key to really sharing anything is listening. So I want you to know that one of the things I love about Zoom that's not quite as great as being face-to-face, but it's close when we don't live within walking distance from each other, is I can see your faces. And we listen with more than our ears. We listen with our bodies. And we're going to actually do an exercise tonight that does that listens with our bodies. So I want to give you the quick lay of the land. And how many of you are familiar with the vagal nerve or polyvagal theory? You can pop your head up, even if you're just a little bit. Okay, cool. And some of you may not know that you're familiar with it, but you might be. You've either heard me or someone else talk about that we have this connection. There's actually a nerve that runs from the base of our brain, from our brain stem, down both sides of our neck and connects all of our organs. And that's the simplest way to think about it. It's the connector. It's the pathway. And one of the most interesting things that I have found and learned in my studies is that about 20% of the messages that travel that pathway, the vagus nerve, go from the brain to the body. That leaves 80% of those messages that go from the body to the brain. Now, thinking about that, the beautiful thing is it is a two-way street. So that can either reinforce like a really great experience along the pathway, or you can see where we could get caught in a loop, right? That wouldn't be so productive. We get a thought that maybe is pulling us down, and then we get a feeling in the body, and then that 80% shoots up to the brain, and that story gets spinning. Who's ever been caught in the spinning spiral of the story? I know that I have, right? Could we tell a better story? That's really kind of the story of the nervous system, is let's see if we can't listen in and find out what the message is. I was talking to a friend earlier today who, we've probably all said this at some point, said, I'm just a mess. And I said, the mess has a message. And if we can learn to listen, then we can realize it's not who we are. It's something we're feeling, and it's something that we're experiencing. So that's what we're going to dig into tonight. And I want to take a few concepts that many of you probably have heard. Maybe some of you have pieces up. And my hope tonight is that we keep it simple. I thought about making slides and diagrams because you should see how, well, when I write things, I've got like arrows and stuff all over the place. But what I really felt was the key for tonight is listening. Let's just tune in, and it is recorded, so you can take notes if you're a note taker, but you can also just tune in and listen and just get the wide picture while I talk about some details. Each of us learn differently, so feel free, like I said, feel free to take tons of notes, go back and listen, whatever pops out, or if something in particular pops out to you, to jot it down. But we're going to start with this thought about this pathway. And so want to give you a lay of what we're going to do tonight. First, about 15 minutes, I'm just going to share some of this like theory and the way that I have simplified down the stuff that I've learned into what I call the 3 states of the nervous system and the 3 brains and how they interact together. And then from there, we're going to do an exercise to embody it, to feel that pathway between those 3 states of the nervous system and those 3 parts of our brains. And we're going to practice that pathway and see if we can resolve maybe something that's been bothering us lately, something that's felt like maybe a little too much, and we'll get into that. And then I want to share with you just briefly after that exercise, something that I'm going to be offering. Some of you are already a part of it in 2026, called The Doing, and which is just an offering that I have been really excited about because I think a lot of us, myself included, need a bridge, something to bridge that gap between everything up here and the walking out. Because 20% is great. And those that know me know I love to read and study. So I like to put lots of stuff in my brain. It's really fun for me. It's like eating candy. But it doesn't always translate if I just grab a new book or learn a new practice. I need to actually practice the practice. And that has been what has moved the needle for me. I did a little bit of reflecting recently on what really did move the needle for me, from my journey through kind of self-diagnosed complex PTSD with lots of professionals that I know saying, yeah, Stace, that's definitely what's going on with you, to being a regulated human. And being regulated doesn't mean that I'm always calm. I couldn't lie to you because my husband and my sister-in-law who lives with me right now would be like, yeah, not true. And my friend Dina, who's known me for like 27 years, would also call my bluff on that one. But what it means is that we have the freedom to move, right? We can feel stress. We can move into it and lean into it, and we can let it have its work in us, and we can come back to a place where we can function and grow. That's what being regulated is. It doesn't mean that nothing ever bothers us. Big sigh of relief, right? Because otherwise we were to think, yeah, I'm never going to be okay. Not me. The truth is it's about that freedom. It's about not getting stuck, right? So, and then we'll have some question and answer at the end. And so if you have questions as we go along, feel free to put them in the chat in all caps, or write them down and save them, which might be easier if it's pressing. Let me let someone in here. Welcome. I think that was Lorraine. Welcome. Good to see you. Just pop right in. We are recording, and we're about to just jump right into a little bit of theory. But feel free to keep your questions till the end, and then you can either ask them. It'll be probably easier for me to spot them if you wait. But if you think you're going to forget, feel free to put them in all caps in the chat, and that way I can find them if we go back through at the end. So you can ask questions about anything we talked about. If something is really pressing you while we're talking, put an actual physical hand up because I can see you, and we'll pause. Okay. But if it can wait, let's trust the process a little bit, because I think once we get to do it, it's going to even make more sense. Sound good? Thumbs up? Okay. Head nods, thumbs up. I see you all. Okay. So let's imagine what I call a 10-point scale. Let me say this really quick first, because this little model that I'm going to present is sort of a simple way for us to know how we're feeling. And you might think that I know how I'm feeling. To tune in a little deeper, because I asked people that were signing up some ways they've been feeling lately, and I wrote down this list. These were some of the words. So maybe you have either felt this or are feeling it. Confusion, feel pulled into the vortex of this other. Internal chaos. There were a couple anxieties. Lack of sleep, feeling unmotivated. Forgetfulness, brain fog, unable to remember things. Difficulty with decisions, or being pulled like, am I really aligned with who I am, or am I making a decision based on others or culture around me? Fear, panic attacks, life, and just too much stress. Like, that's quite a list of things. And we've all felt a lot of this stuff, if not all of it at some point. So for me, what I came up with that helps me so much is what I call this 10-point scale. So just imagine 10 points, and put my hands up here. And if we take that center numbers 4 to 7, this is what I call calm alert, or if you like this language, parasympathetic, ventral vagal. Okay, this is where we have the energy to show up for life, and we also have a certain amount of calmness. So the energy we need, but also the ability to take it in, to make decisions. That was in that list. The ability to not feel pulled by either our own internal atmosphere or the external atmosphere, that we can actually show up with who we are in the moment, and we can heal, we can grow, we can feel all of the emotions and show up for them. Here's one of the keys with that. Growth doesn't happen without a little bit of stress at times. Like, Anybody ever lifted weights? The whole point is we stress the muscle out a little bit and then we have some rest and it grows. So here again, that 4 to 7 is the ideal, but it doesn't mean that we don't ever go out of the 4 to 7. So then let's talk about our 8 to 10. That's what I call the stress response. That can also be called the sympathetic nervous system, which is fight, flight, fear, fawn, or freeze. And I used to hold off the freeze word for our 0 to 3, but I've included it back in here because most people do, and now I understand why. Because there's 2 aspects to a freeze. One is an energetic freeze. It's sort of this like I'm frozen and ready to move at any second. That deer in the headlights, I'm about to jump. Then there's a freeze that's a shutdown, and we'll get to that. This is the freeze that's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to I'm ready to spring into action if I need to, but in the moment I'm stuck. So that's that energized place of our nervous system. And really what's going on in that place is the body is not so sure, the brain is not so sure that it's okay. When we're in that 4 to 7, we have this sense that I'm safe, I'm loved, and I'm capable of learning. But when we're in the 8 to 10, we're not so sure. What's usually going on is something in the external environment is causing enough stress to have us go, am I safe? Am I loved? Can I really learn from this? Do I have what I need right now? And what that part of our nervous system needs is support. We need to know that we're safe, that we're loved, and that we can learn, that we have the resources. And if we do, awesome. This is the intended growth pathway. We get that need met with the support. Welcome, Brooke. I see Brooke just joined us. Hop right in, Brooke. We're talking about the 3 states of our nervous system. So if we get what we need when we're in that 8 to 10, we regulate back down in the 4 to 7, and we can then learn and heal and grow. And that kind of back and forth, life brings a little stress, brings a little bit of a challenge. We're able to have our resources and meet the need, and we come back into the 4 to 7. That's like the rupture and repair, That's how things get strengthened. What happens when those needs aren't met? When we're not sure if we're safe, we're not sure if we're loved, we're not sure if we can learn, and we don't get that need met. It's kind of like when we get too much for too long or too much too fast, like a really traumatic situation that comes in and just blows us out of the water. And it can also be that we don't get enough for too long, which is more like neglect. This can happen a lot in relationships, whether you're a child or in a committed romantic relationship or even a friendship, where you're really being neglected and there's this sort of starvation mode going on. So what happens when we go past the 10 is we go down into that shutdown, which can also be called the dorsal vagal, okay, kind of a collapse. And this is a conservation of energy. Here's the beautiful part. All of these states of our nervous system are working for us, not against us. And if we can really think of it like a car that's overheating or a computer that was overheating and it shuts down. That's what our body is doing for us when we haven't heard, here's that key word, listened. We haven't listened because maybe we don't know how, we don't understand the message in the mess of the 8 to 10 of that sympathetic nervous system state. And so we just push past. And for a lot of us in the society and cultures and families maybe we've grown up in, we've heard the message, just push harder. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps and keep going. That's what it means to be an American, right? Push through. And there's a lot of women here tonight. We're also told be tough, toughen up. If you're going to be out in the workplace or you're going to be a mom, whatever, you're just going to have to get a little tougher. And so sometimes we take that to mean I just have to ignore all of this communication that's coming my way because I don't know what to do with it. And then we find ourselves in the 0 to 3 and didn't even know that we were in the 8 to 10. Have you ever been there? Where all of a sudden you're just like, what's wrong with me? I can't get out of bed. I can't focus. I have no energy. I have no motivation. I feel depressed. usually that doesn't come out of the 4 to 7. It comes because we were in that 8 to 10 for too long, or like I said, too quick. That can happen. We could be going along in a 4 to 7 and a really traumatic thing happens to us. Kind of your typical trauma, right? And those things can blow us out of the water really fast. And it can feel like everything was fine one moment and then boom, like a car crash. And then our bodies, interesting thing though, even with that, our bodies mobilize energy right away. That stress response and the shaking that comes, all of those things from like a traumatic accident or something, we do have that moment of the 8 to 10. And even those things, when we learn how to show up for those times in our life, we can keep ourselves from going into that freeze, or we can mitigate how much time we spend in the freeze. The freeze can sometimes, the collapse freeze that we're talking about, that shutdown, can be an actual gift. There are times in my life, if you feel like nodding or thumbs up or hand, where my shutdown has been an absolute gift. I feel it coming and I say, oh my gosh, I have blown past the signals and it's time for me to create a really safe, small place for myself for a while. And right, honey, you've been with me, Joel, through some of those times where I'm like, guess what? Stacey's going to sit on the couch and binge watch Nashville for 2 nights, okay? Because she just realized I pushed myself too hard, too fast, and I didn't listen. So there is a time and a place. But when we can become aware, and this is the gift I hope that we can glean from tonight, when we can become aware of these 3 states of our nervous system, we can know where we are. Because feeling lost all of a sudden feels better if you have some sort of a landmark, right? If you've been lost and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, no, I know that street. I know that street right over there. You can begin to get your bearings. And that to me is what learning to listen to the nervous system is about, is we go, oh, I'm in an 8 to 10. I'm feeling all this mobilized energy. I'm feeling stressed. So I guess I'm probably not sure that I'm safe. I'm not sure that I'm loved, and I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be learning from this. And when we're there, we can say, I need some support, and bring that support in. And the number one thing we can do is do it for ourselves, which is the exercise we're going to do tonight. Because hopefully we have, looking here, I see faces of all kinds of people that I can turn to and have turned to, pretty much all of you at one point in time, for some support. So thank you for that. We can turn to other people for support, but not always. There are times in our life when nobody else is either around or has the capacity at that moment, or we can't reach the ones that have the capacity for us. And that's when we get to show up for ourselves. And this is a beautiful thing that we get to do, right? Let me connect this other 3 thing for you real quick. The 3 parts of the brain, many of us know about these. Brain stem, and I'm going to put my hands in the approximate place. The brain stem is the part of us that is most connected with that question, am I safe? And it's the part of us that is like survival mode. It's going to make sure if we're caught in survival mode, we're most likely in brainstem. And all our body is wanting to do is make sure we stay alive. Midbrain, which is limbic brain, is the part that's most connected with that question, am I loved? And this, when we're balanced, when we're in that parasympathetic 4 to 7, that part says, I can feel all the feelings. I can feel a little sad. I can feel excited. I can feel really, really joyful. I could feel a little irritated at somebody. And there's space for all of that. When we're not, that's when we feel really overwhelmed by our emotions, like they're kidnapping us, hijacking us, or that we can't even differentiate. Like, I don't even know how I feel. That's when we're a little bit offline here in the midbrain. And then prefrontal cortex, this is that part that's most connected with, what can I learn, or can I learn? Do I have the capacity to learn? And we learn in the 4 to 7 range. That's where we grow. If we're stuck in that 8 to 10 or the 0 to 3, all we do is run patterns. And when we're in patterns, like, have you ever watched a dog that runs its yard and it has like a pattern it runs? And the poor thing, you're just like, oh my gosh, can we somehow interrupt this dog and help it to just relax for a minute? We can get caught in that pattern. So the pathway we'd like to be in is that 4 to 7, feeling the 8 to 10 when we need it, learning, coming back in with our resources and growing. The trauma pathway, that unfortunately some of us get stuck in is this pinging between 8 to 10, too much, shut down, but then guess what? We have to show up for life. So what happens? Our body says, well, I'll help you, because that 8 to 10 is meant to be temporary. The thing about it is it's not sustainable long term. It's meant to be re-regulated into the 4 to 7, and we've already chatted about if we don't get back to that 4 to 7, we go into that almost mandatory shutdown. But because we need to show up for life, body says, guess what? I have this great ability to shoot hormones into your body and chemical compounds so that you can go to work. It's like putting those heart paddles on, or if you're a vehicle, like we were talking about a car that overheated, battery died, we just stick some jumper cables on that sucker and boom, we're off to the races. But guess what? We're back in the 8 to 10. So the cool gift here is when we go back into that 8 to 10, when the body gives us that jolt back in, we have the opportunity. When we're in that 8 to 10, it's like second chance, third chance, fourth chance. Can we show up with the resources we need now so that we can go to the 4 to 7 and not keep going back to the 0 to 3, jumper cables up to the 8 to 10, shut down into the 0 to 3. And a lot of us, maybe those of you that are here tonight or those that are going to be listening later might be going, oh my gosh, that's what's been happening to me. So I hope you can exhale and be like, I'm not crazy. My nervous system is functioning exactly the way it was designed to keep me alive and then to continually give me the opportunity to get back into a regulated state, because we don't regulate back into our 4 to 7 from a 0 to 3. So we have to kind of whoop back up into the 8 to 10, that energized, a little bit too much state, in order to come back to our 4 to 7. Therein lies the gift of the nervous system. And can we kind of see where, when we understand this, that our nervous system actually is our BFF, right? It's saying, I really am trying to help you here. And I'm wanting to communicate. The problem is, I just used the word. We've seen all the things that happen in us as a problem. I'm stressed out. I'm overwhelmed. This is a problem to fix. Dina put a great post in our Becoming Safe page today or yesterday. And it was about interpersonal relationships, where let's say Emily and I are on a phone call and she's telling me about something that's going on. And I'm going, well, here, Emily, here's all you need to do. And it's really not that big of a deal. She's going to probably start feeling like, are you even listening to me? But if I can show up for her and be like, wow, tell me about that. Where are you feeling that? And I start to inquire with her. She's probably going to almost take like an exhale and feel like Stacey's really listening to me. That's what we get to do for ourselves. Sound good? And I know that feels like a lot. But what I'd love to do now is to lead us through an exercise that would give us the chance to feel this. Does everybody feel ready to go there? Does anyone have anything pressing that you're like, I really want to ask something before we go into that exercise? If so, just pop your hand up, or you can unmute. Everybody's feeling good. Okay. Let me try one more time to see if I can get this song to play. And like I said, it is not necessary. If we were doing a full-on breath work, I'd have to figure that out. But it was playing earlier and it just doesn't really want to right now. Try one more thing here. Nothing? Okay. Well, we're good without music. And just so it's fair, I'm turning it off for me too. All right. Let's go ahead and close down our eyes if that feels comfortable for you. This is an inward journey between you and yourself. So I just invite you right now just to feel both of your feet. If you're sitting in a way that your feet are on the ground, just feel both feet on the ground. If they're not, just notice where the bottoms of your feet are and where your seat is. So if you're sitting on a chair, feel the bottom of your chair, your bed, the floor, and just breathe in through your nose out through your mouth. Nice and long. Do a couple more of those while you just feel the support of where you're sitting. The exercise we're going to do, we're going to step into a little bit of discomfort. And I want you to know that I'm right here with you, and you can go in as deep as you want, and you can go pull out a little bit. But I promise you, we're not going to stay with our discomfort. We're going to just explore it. We're going to breathe. I love to use the acronym Be Safe. And so the B is for breathe. The E is explore. And we'll get to the SAFE in a minute. So just breathe. And we're just going to explore. So I'm going to invite you, you get to pick a recent event, experience, interaction that felt uncomfortable. And decide where you're at tonight. If you feel like, you know what, I'm in a place where I want to go a little bit deeper into something that's really been bothering me. Or if you're at a place tonight where you're like, I am not in a place that I want to dig into much, then pick something small. Pick something really small just to play with this exercise, and then anything in between. And just we're going to be up right now in our head, in that prefrontal cortex. And we're just checking in with the story in our head. What is it? Pick that scenario, something that's bothered you, an unresolved situation. It can be in the far past or recent past, or even something that's going on right now that you want to dig into. And anchor into that story. See it, feel it, know that we're not going to leave you here, not alone, right here with you. Go ahead and see the scene, see the interaction. Tell your brain, let yourself tell some of the details of this story in your head. Take a deep breath into that story, be in it, place yourself in the setting. Now from that place, travel down into that middle brain. And what is the emotion that's associated with this situation? These are going to be things like anger, sadness, frustration, confusion. What's the emotion? Give it a name if you can. You're welcome to speak this out loud if that's comfortable to you and helpful. Otherwise, just keep it right inside. And just think of the name. And then be with that feeling for a minute. Just show up with it. Because right here, right now, we're together. We're not truly there, but we're placing ourselves in the memory of it. Just see if you can feel that emotion and let that emotion take up some space. Take a breath into that. Now with that story and that emotion running, kind of like a movie, feel in your body, where do you feel this story? And where do you feel that particular emotion? What part of your body is it showing up in? And feel it. See if you can describe it in sensory words. Tight, hot, cold, tense, squishy, prickly. Does it have a smell or a sound? And see if you can notice that part of your body. And if you can, and if this feels available to you, put your hands on that part of your body. Really try to locate it. And bring some gentle attention, your awareness there. And again, if you can find that spot, wherever it is, even if it doesn't make any sense to you, it's in your right kneecap. Okay, wherever it is, your heart, racing heart, put your hands there and put a little bit of pressure. Feel your own body showing up for that feeling. This is an important part. And then see if there's any kind of movement that wants to show up. Either in that touch, like if your hand is on that part of your body, and you kind of feel like you want to squeeze it or rub it or tap on it. Or maybe you feel like you just want to take your hands off that part and shake it. Or maybe there's a sound that wants to come out. Whatever it might be. Or notice your breath. Did your breath get deeper? Was there an exhale? Did your breath get shallow or even stop? Just feel it and then follow it. So in that acronym SAFE, we're staying with the sensation right now. There's our S. Our A is attention. We're placing our attention by putting our hands on it and our awareness on that spot. Now we're going to feel it and follow it. There's our F. And express, there's the E, anything that wants to come out. Is there any kind of a sound, a movement, a touch? And just explore that. And follow it. Has it moved? Maybe it was on your heart at first and now it's kind of going up around your throat a little bit. There you go. Yeah. Any movement your body's calling for, a stretch, a shift, even the slightest little move. You want to shift to a different seat bone or you feel your body do a little exhale. Just follow it. Another breath in and let that one go. Now continuing with that support, with your touch, with any movement, continue to feel it in your body and follow it if it moves. And we're also going to move back up that pathway to the emotion. And recall that initial word, whatever your word was for that emotion, if it was sadness or anger or whatever it was, and just tune into it and check in and see if that's really its name. If it says, yeah, I'm sadness, or if it's changed, just see. We're just going to recognize what that emotion is, if it has a name. What does it feel like? And acknowledge it, almost like it's knocking on your door, and you're going to answer the door and say, oh, hello there, sadness. Hello, anger. Maybe it's a happy feeling. Whatever it is, just see if you can acknowledge it. And this is where we get to practice listening even deeper. We're going to inquire into that emotion right now while we're supporting our body. And if it's moved, if you feel like your hands want to move to a different place, or if they're ready to let go and sort of hang at your side, follow that. Trust what your body is wanting to do. Your body's very in tune with the emotional brain and wants to be connected. The beautiful thing is the body, the emotions, and the story want to be connected. So when we make this pathway, they're going to help us. So just take a moment and inquire with that emotion and just say, hey, tell me about it. Tell me about it. And then just listen. Let it rant, let it cry. Listen. Does it have a message for you? Keep your breath going and notice. Notice if your breath changes. Notice if your body wants to move or shift while you're listening. What does this emotion want to say to you? Tell me about it. And while you're listening, notice you are not your emotion. You're experiencing your emotion, much like a friend sitting on a couch, listening and asking their friend, tell me about it. How did that feel? What do you need? That name of the emotion, it's not who you are. It's something you're experiencing and showing up for. And as you're holding that space on the couch there with this friend whose name is fill in the blank, and you're listening, while you're supporting the sensations in your body and you're staying with them, we're going to keep those two things connected and travel up to that story again. And whatever it is, if it's a person or a circumstance, see if there's a should or a shouldn't. He should have da-da-da-da-da. They shouldn't have. It shouldn't or should be this way, that way. See if you can notice what should or shouldn't statement is involved in this story. This feeling, emotion, sensation in your body. And notice how it feels in the emotions and in your body when we have these should statements. He shouldn't be doing this, but he is. How does that feel? This is the icky part. Breathe into it. Increase that support on your body if you need to, if you can, if it's calling for it. If there's a movement now that wants to come out, a shake or a sound or an emotion, a tear, anything, you can release it. Or just hold and listen. Now here's a question. From this place in the story, ask yourself, what does it say about me? What is the belief about you? If this person or this circumstance shouldn't be this way, it must mean that I am or I am not. What does it say about you? What do you believe about you if this thing is true? This should or shouldn't statement. See if you can identify. It might be something like, well, then I'm not lovable. I'll never be loved. I always mess everything up. I'm not smart enough. It means I'm a total failure. Just listen for a minute and see what that belief is that comes to the surface here. And if nothing's coming up for you, that's fine too. Just be with it. That would be like if you're sitting on the couch with your friend and you ask that, tell me about it, and they just sat there and shook their head and held themselves and cried. Just be with it. But if there's a belief that does rise to the surface that you can put words to about yourself, I want to invite you to, for one moment, again, feel how it feels in your emotion and in your body when you believe that's true. I'm not enough. I'm a total failure. And now, I invite you to turn it around. You don't have to believe this. Let's just try it on. Imagine the opposite is true. Instead of, I'm never going to be good enough, the truth is, I am good enough right now. So find that polar opposite statement. Again, you don't even have to buy into it. If your head is telling you, yeah, but it's not true. I am a total failure. Doesn't matter. We're just trying it on like we're at a store trying on some clothes. And if it were true, whatever that opposite statement about your own value, your own self, try it on. Hold it, picture it as if it's 100% true, and then travel back down that pathway into the emotion. What's the emotion if it were true? That you are lovable, that you're enough right now, that you are love and loved. And how would your body feel if it were true? Imagine it. just see if you can feel a change in the emotion and see if there's any movement now or any change in your breath. The sensation in your body. Maybe there's a tingling if you run your hands up and down your arms. Again, if the brain pops in and says, yeah, but it's not true, say it's fine, it doesn't have to be. But right now we're just going to pretend, we're going to imagine, if it were true, how would that feel? And allow yourself to feel it for a moment. Feel the shift in your emotion and the shift in your body. Really feel it and breathe into it. As you feel it, bring in some gentle touch to that part of your body. Bring in a nice slow inhale through the nose and a long exhale. And speak it, the truth that we're trying on. I am loved. Maybe it's one of those statements for the three brains. I am safe. I am loved. And I am learning and growing. I have what I need right now. And then from that place in your body, that 80% message, if you can even feel a tiny shift in your body, a softening, allow that message. I feel a little more safe. I feel a little more loved. Let it flow up, up, up into that story. Every single one of these movements we've made in this exercise is building the connection, the communication connection between those three parts of our brain that are going to be present in all three states of our nervous system. And we can tune in when we feel that 8 to 10 of the stress. We can tune in and we can move this pathway and say, okay, I'm feeling a little bit extra energy. I'm feeling a little stressed. Where do I feel it in my body? Can I bring in some support, some touch? Is there movement? What's the emotion? Can I sit on the couch and listen to that emotion? Can I ask it? Tell me more. What do you need? Can I go up into that story in my head and listen to it rant and rave? And can I get from that story the should or the shouldn't that I am believing? Can I hear underneath it, what is that belief, that identity statement that's underneath it, that might be driving this emotion and this feeling in my body? And maybe it's the gift that this situation, this person is bringing to my awareness. And we can travel this pathway. Let's take a deep breath into the connection. Feel your body. Feel that breath go from your body up, 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 up to the top of your head. Breathe in all the way to the top of your head. And then let it out slowly. And as you exhale, just imagine that breath going down from your head, through your emotions, out of your body. Let's do one more of those together, imagining that pathway of connection. Body, emotions, all the way up into the story. Breathe some fresh air into that story. And as you exhale, speak to yourself that better truth, just that possibility. I'm loved. I have what I need. I'm safe. And on this last big inhale connection, just slowly flutter your eyes open back to your own surroundings. Maybe look at your hands, look at your body, look around you. Bring in a little bit of gentle movement. Maybe your body wants a stretch. When you're ready, bring yourself back to our screens here. And I would encourage you, when we hop off of here in a few minutes, if you haven't already, to just grab a journal if something came to you through that exercise and jot it down for that situation that you chose to bring up. Maybe you got some clarity. If not, not a problem. It doesn't mean you failed the exercise. It means, guess what? You're learning. And you got to feel something, and you practiced a pathway. And that's really, really important. And that's this new thing that I think some of you know about already, that I'm starting January 6th. I'm calling it the doing, because one of my favorite phrases that I've coined in life is, in the doing is the learning. And we talked about tonight these 3 states of the nervous system, the 3 brains, the connection, and then we did it. Had we just left it with the information, probably would have gotten something out of it. But by doing that exercise, even if you didn't get that much right now, or even if it was like, gosh, that was hard, I'm not sure, you could tonight, tomorrow, the next day, you could do this again because you did it, right? The body knows what it does more than just that 20% if we get it up here. When we do it, 80% of the message you just retain. So you just got at least a B. You got an 80%, okay? So what I realized in my own life and in a lot of the situations with women that I've been working with, and men as well, in the breathwork too, is that oftentimes we want to go in deep, which is fantastic. Let me see a show of hands. Emily and I were chatting about this past week. Some of us are tidiers, housework. Some of us are deep cleaners. Some of us like to do both. We tidy and deep clean, and then maybe some of us do neither. Okay. Do we have any tidy onlys but really hate the deep clean? What about you don't mind the deep clean, but you really hate to just keep it tidy all the time? You more like let the dishes pile up and then you come in and you just scrub that kitchen top to bottom. Who's both? You're a tidier and a deep cleaner? Awesome. Oh, yay. You guys are amazing. Anyone willing to admit they're neither? No, none of us. That's. I'm not even going to say good, bad, because there's no judgment here. They're both amazing things. They're amazing things. And when we can do both of those things, we can really move the needle. If I can kind of keep up on my house every single day, and then I get to go in for a deep cleaning, and we get to go to those places we don't often go, like the baseboards and the blinds. And then I keep up on that. And then the next time I go in for a deep cleaning, guess what? Oh, now I'm going to get to the gutters that have the leaves all stuck in there. And I'm probably going to have time to pull the screens out of the windows and clean those. And then I keep up daily. I'm going to be able to go in deeper. And for a lot of us, you've heard me say this about our chaos, if we're in the middle of our chaos, we don't have the energy to do a lot of that deep stuff. We may not even feel like we have the energy to do the daily. But if we can find one tiny little thing that we can do, we're going to be able to take those little steps, and we're going to be able to get to where we can do those things and where the needle does move. And that is my encouragement. And what I realized if we can basically 5 minutes every day of doing something, kind of like when I learned to play the guitar. The first time I learned it, I was gung-ho and I was playing until literally my fingers were bleeding. And then, of course, the next day and the day after that, I couldn't play until they healed. And then when I would go back in, it was like starting all over. That is a miserable way to live. So when I decided the second time that I really was going to learn guitar, I would not let myself play for more than 5 minutes a day. I picked 2 chords and I played them back and forth for 5 minutes, and then I put the guitar down. Even if my brain said, or my body said, well, you could probably go another minute or 2. I made myself for like a week 5 minutes, and then I increased it until I developed calluses on my fingers. And then I was able to play for hours. So similar kind of a thing. We have to sometimes titrate what we do. And what we want to do when we're in the middle of our chaos is, I'm going to go in and fix this thing, right? But what we just learned from our nervous system is when we approach ourselves, just like our relationships and other people with, I'm going to fix you, I'm going to fix this, what we're really saying is something's wrong with you. That doesn't feel very good in our body. But when we say there's nothing to fix here, I'm here to listen to this beautiful wisdom and message that's coming up, then I can show up and I can that kind of a showing up, 5 minutes, that's saying, I'm only going to play my guitar 5 minutes. I can find the strength to show up for myself for that long. That's my hope in this offering that I'm doing with the doing. And there's going to be, you'll get an email after this with a link to that. So you can check it out and see if it's something that you want to do if you aren't already a part of that. Deep is great. You guys, most of you know I'm a somatic breathwork practitioner. And to me, like a full journey breathwork is like a hire the maid, let's come in and scour this house top to bottom. It's fantastic. And the daily tidying is really great. And so what I'm hoping to bring together with the doing is both. There's going to be daily little things that we do. And then for each month that we're in the doing, we're going to have one in the whole month, deep breathwork session. So it's like cleaning. We're going to tidy the house. We're going to scour that thing once a month. So you'll get a link for that. And I want to wrap us up with some questions and answers about anything that we've talked about. If you have any insights, something you want to add or share, or even about your experience with the exercise we just did, and or if you have any questions about the doing, you can ask those now. Would anybody have any questions? I see lots of smiles. Emily, you can unmute.
No question. Just wanted to say thank you so much for this opportunity and experience.
You're so
And
welcome.
what I really, honestly, I wasn't expecting something very small to have opened up to some profound wisdom that was just lying there for me to connect with. So thank you so much for that. And I also wrote down something that you shared that really stuck out to me, which was it's easier to be lost when we can look around and see if there's anything that we recognize or if we've been here before. So I'm going to take that to the heart.
I love that, Emily. Thank you so much for sharing that, and just sharing that sometimes I love how you put that too. There was wisdom just lying there for you to pick up. I think that's how you said it. It's like, look at that. That is such a gift. I have found that too when I tune into my nervous system and listen. It's like, oh, especially when I've tuned into those emotions and I'm afraid of them. And then they say, I just wanted to let you know, like, I'm a little bit nervous about this situation, or I
That
just
was the
wanted,
word
say that
nerve.
again.
That was the word nervous.
Was it?
Emotion. Yes, it was nervous. And
Wow.
when I looked at it, it was like, oh, there's nothing to be nervous about. There's nothing wrong here.
Mm.
It's about being in acceptance. So, yes, that is right, my friend. Thank you.
Wow. I love it. I love it. We're connected. Really great. Anyone else want to share anything from that experience or any questions that are coming up? And it's okay if you did not have a profound thing or even had a really uncomfortable feeling going through that exercise. There is no shame in that. There's no right, wrong way to do what we just did. We're learning, and we're learning together. So even if you had something that you would say, oh, it wasn't very great, you can share that too. Or you can just know that we're here with you holding that space. Anybody else? Awesome. Well, are we all feeling pretty complete? You feel like you gleaned anything? Thank you, Emily. You already shared that. But did anyone else feel like you gleaned something that you can reflect on or maybe take with you? I hope so. I know that my heart, when I think about what I do and why I do what I do, is one, knowing that without support, without insights, whether it was from a human being who was able to show up with a message for me at the right moment, or a book that I picked up, or a moment on my face on the floor where something came through for me that shifted the needle, when I can help hold that space. One of the things I love to say is, I can't do it for you, but I'll walk through it with you. And we all know we cannot do anything for someone else that they don't want. But we can keep showing up and creating a safe space, and we can hold out pieces and just say, it's here for you. And that can be one of the toughest things when you really want to help somebody. we can do that for ourselves too. And sometimes, maybe we can close on that thought, sometimes our own self being in resistance to what our nervous system is holding out for us, we might think we're really engaged in our own healing process. But if we can pause, kind of like what Emily said, and notice that our nervous system is actually, even the word nervous, holding out something, saying, I've got something for you. Would you like it? It won't force itself on us. It will keep us alive. Thank you, nervous system. It will keep us alive. And then it will hold out this great gift. So I just want to invite you guys, when we sign off here, take a minute if you have it and tune into what that gift is. What was that gift for you tonight? And then reach out. If any more questions come to you, either about our practice tonight or anything else that comes up, or if I can support you in any way, just reach out to me, because I think I'll have my email. So, all right, I'll just scan really quick here. I don't see any questions in there. So y'all are just ready and good to go. And you feel complete, seen, heard, loved?
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, let's unmute and just say goodbye to each other and wave at each other, because you've all kind of heard me talk about each other. So now you can put a couple faces to the people I talk about. I love you all and I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
See you.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that it really was valuable to you, and especially if you enjoyed the exercise that we did and you heard me talking about this offering I have coming up January 6th, 2026 through April 5th of 2026, called The Doing. And what The Doing is 90 days of somatic practices that are going to be quite similar to the one that we did during this video, where we're going to tune in and we're going to learn how to listen better to our nervous system. And from this video, we talked about the 3 different states of our nervous system, the 3 parts of our brain, and how each one of those parts asks a different question, and how each one of those parts responds to the different parts, different states of our nervous system. And so from that place, we're going to spend 90 days doing different exercises that are going to be similar to that in length, right around 10, 15, 20 minutes at the most each day, and giving us those embodied experiences of feeling where our nervous system is, learning how to track it, and then learning how to show up for it so that we can get the message from what often feels like a mess. We'll be using an acronym that I love, Be Safe, for each of the days of the week as we go through. B, breathe, the letter B, then E, explore. Let me backtrack to the B. I'm a somatic breathwork practitioner. So we're going to use our breath in these exercises. We're also going to do some daily breathwork practices that are designed to activate the nervous system and open up those pathways to clear out what no longer serves us, and then to bring us back into that parasympathetic nervous system state so that we can rewire and we can learn. So we're going to use our breath. E, we're going to explore. And exploring is sort of what we did in this exercise. We're going to be able to check in with different parts of our body. We're going to explore different sensations. We're going to explore ways to support and stay with those sensations and to feel our feelings, ways to listen. And then the word safe. The S stands for sensations. We're going to learn how to listen to the messages of our body rather than jumping to the conclusion that something's wrong with me. I feel a pain, I feel this, I need to take some sort of a medication. We might, but we're going to tune into that sensation and say, can I stay with that sensation? Can I feel it and listen to it? Is there a message? The A, we're going to use our attention, our awareness, attunement. So we're going to tune in to the different states of our body using exercises, and not just our body, but our emotional well-being, our limbic brain, the messages that are coming from the different, emotional states. Then F is the feeling and following. When we can stay with those sensations, when we can use our attention and awareness, we're going to feel different things in our body and in our emotions and in our head, the story. Then we're going to follow them. When we follow them, we realize that they shift. They come in and at us, often from the outside world. We feel them in our inside world, sometimes like a little cyclone. And if we can stay with that, we'll feel it move and shift. when it does, that has a message. The other thing we'll also feel when we stay with it is we're going to feel when it leaves. When it comes in, has its work, and leaves. And when those certain things are ready to go because they've been listened to and attuned to, and when those things need more attention. And then the E of the word safe is express. We're going to learn different ways to express how we feel, what we've discovered about ourselves, and we're going to get a little creative about that. And then we'll have a day each week to integrate. And the beautiful thing is when we do this practice of be safe and integrate it, we're going to actually experience what it feels like to be safe. And here's the last acronym that I love from that word, the 4 letters of safe. We're going to feel secure and stable. We're going to feel aware instead of caught unaware. We're going to feel free. And the beautiful thing about freedom is there's freedom from and freedom to. We're going to begin to feel free from the patterns that have kept us stuck, from the emotions that have hijacked our well-being. And we're going to begin to be free to be who we really are, to explore our gifts and talents, to be in a healthy relationship, free from toxicity and free to step into a healthy and whole way of being and way of interacting. And then my favorite outcome of doing the doing is the letter E in safe, and that's expansion. That means we're going to be able to grow and learn and develop ourselves and become a, I don't love this word, but better, more expanded version of who we are. That's the gift of stress and even trauma. Knowing that our nervous system is showing up for us, continually offering us the opportunity to show up, listen, and learn. So together, we are really going to experience that we're safe, we're loved, and we're learning. Won't you join me? I hope you'll check out the doing. There's going to be a link below these show notes or however you're watching this video. And that will take you to a page that tells you a little bit more about the doing. Again, it's 90 days from January 6th through April 5th of 2026. If by chance you're watching this video and those dates are gone, that link will be hopefully changed, and that will go to a place where those 90 days will be over live, but they will be recorded and on a platform somewhere where you'll be able to access them and do them on your own. The way this is going to happen live, if you're wanting to tune into it live, is it will be through WhatsApp. So every morning on WhatsApp or every day, there will be an audio for you to listen to. You don't have to get onto a Zoom. All you have to do is have WhatsApp on your phone. That's it. I hope you'll check it out. There's some bonuses for people that sign up before January 6th. Huge bonuses to be able to do free, full journey somatic breathwork practices with me, which are like the deep cleaning of the house. The doing are like the daily tidyings that keep us in a place where the deep cleanings can really move the needle for us. So I really hope you'll show up. Click the link below and check out the doing. I'm so glad you showed up for yourself and here.